Money de Guerre has the remains of an ancient church. Geoffrey also states that an impressive circular monument stood at Caer Caradoc, a monument built one generation before Arthur's reign to commemorate soldiers murdered by the Saxons. Now at Mynwent y Milwyr, located on the heights of Money de Guerre, there is evidence of a circular monument, and the name Mynwent y Milwyr, translated, becomes the graveyard of the soldiers.
Right, here on a 1980 Ordnance Survey map, you've got the Mynwent y Milwyr, this monument of the soldiers of the military on Money de Guerre, Fortress Mountain. We're going there. Now, in 1983, a mere 3 years later, we've got an addition to the maps in the form of a motorway, but up on Money de Guerre, here, right, can you focus in? We've lost the Mynwent y Milwyr. So we've gained a motorway and we've lost the most ancient and precious of the monuments. So, I don't know why this has been taken off the map in the last 2 years even, do you? It's on all previous maps.
It's on...
So I'll show you a couple in the house that I bought 2 or 3 years ago here. It's on the previous map. And it's on much older maps on the libraries now, yeah. But no, they've dropped it off the maps. He's so idiot in Southampton. There was nothing about Wales, nothing about Welsh history, but down in Southampton or London, he's drawing the maps of Wales. And he decides what will go on them and what will be dropped off.
This Ordnance Survey triangulation station is placed exactly where the Mynwent y Milwyr once was. We can only wonder as to the structure that centuries ago stood here, but surely it must have been as majestic as the view it commanded.
This circle is, and wherever these mounds are, this is the monument of the soldiers. This is it, here. This is it. And you can see the whole of the bloody kingdom from here, just about. You can't see up the valleys, but you can see the whole bloody kingdom from this point. Bloody marvellous, you know.
Ironically, the name Mynwent y Milwyr has been lost from the very map that this triangulation point was built to chart. Impressions in the earth are all that remain.
Whatever's under the ground here, God knows I don't. And whatever was here. It's a big circle, though. You can trace it out and walk around it. Well, there's lumps and mounds here, and this is the perimeter of it here. You can see the mounds, the perimeter of it, and it walks around here.
Geoffrey of Monmouth said that the circular monument of the soldiers, built in about the 5th century AD, was Stonehenge, but this is clearly one of Geoffrey's many confusions. For Alan Wilson, then, this site, taken together with other evidence, pointed to the location of Caer Caradoc here, in Morgannwg.
This is the edge of it. You trace the mound there. It is there. Okay. Seen it? Most vital identification in Britain. No doubt. Down there, my colleague will tell you about it. That's the woods down there. You see it on that hill? And in that woods down there, that's the Coed y Mwster woods where Arthur was put in the cave, first burial place. And he's taken from that woods and he's brought to Caer Caradoc, because 2 histories say that King Arthur is at Caer Caradoc.
With Mr. Tony Blackett, President of the Historical Preservation Trust of Wales, and in his office. And Tony, can you give us a shot of some of the artifacts that you found in your research?
Yes, well, the most significant, perhaps, artifact is the sword-shaped stone, which we will move on to in a minute. However, in 1990, the excavation revealed 2 major finds. This cross was found by Richard Melbourne in October, after 8 weeks of excavation. We've had it analysed. It is basically silver with a dash of gold and various impurities. Also is a Bronze Age dagger. Now, neither of these items were either found by myself or my associate Alan Wilson. In fact, we weren't even there. But, however, we did arrange the excavation, and hopefully we can get some sort of support to develop and protect these artifacts.
All right, we've just been joined by Mr. Alan Wilson, himself the author and the historian responsible for much of this research.
One of the other things that has been found in the excavation at St. Peter's Church was a tiny axe, and it's very tiny. And when it was found, it was in pristine condition. We gave it to an archaeologist to preserve, and unfortunately he's just shoved it in a drawer and neglected it. But this tiny axe, with it's iron, we think, obviously, corroding that way. It's believed by everybody who's seen it to be a cauldron axe, in other words, a tiny axe with which they would cut the cauldron lettering on sticks and strips of wood. If that's the case, we've got the only ancient cauldron axe in the world. Now, the difficulty we face, as my colleague could explain if he wants to, is this. If the academic view, which is absolutely absurd, is ludicrous, that stemming from one man only, who wasn't a historian, that the cauldron alphabet was invented around the time of Napoleon, 1800, then you can't have 1,000 or 1,500-year-old cauldron axe. Nor can you have the cauldron writing described by Julius Caesar and Strabo and Ammianus Marcellinus and others, and so on, which we've been through. So we have an ancient cauldron axe, but the academic stance is that this can't exist because cauldron wasn't invented until around 1800 AD, instead of about 800 BC, as we're proving. So that's the only one in the world, and it's urgently in need of preservation by experts to make sure it doesn't fall apart completely, which is what I'm doing in my hands. And we'll show you the memorial stone that was found. Again, we don't know the age of it, but we did find it. So this is a stone, and it does have carved lettering on it. And you can make them out there. It runs down to here and here.
Although this was found long before the excavation in 1990, Professor Talbot, the archaeologist, actually found the niche in the wall where the stone
Could have been.
appears to have been.
So there you go.
It's just almost a phallic symbol.
Well, it's very similar in shape to the Magna Cuba stone down at Nevin. And the lettering is pretty close to the lettering. It's the same as lettering on other 6th century stones.